Procedure for safe mooring, development and monitoring of moorings for cargo ship, and deployment and monitoring of mooring safety of crew during mooring operation. Mooring and anchoring operation are one of the critical and hazardous tasks routinely carried out on ship. Mooring arrangement and requirement of mooring equipment and local weather conditions differ from port to port. Careful pre-planning before any mooring operation is therefore essential. In the past, many fatal injuries and even death of crew being reported due to unsafe mooring practices on board. When mooring operations get out of control, it may lead a vessel to collide with other ships or severe contact damage to a shore structure and resulted in a considerable claim to the ship owner. Thus, it is of great importance when conducting any mooring operation to make a comprehensive risk assessment and follow specific steps to ensure the safety of all those doing the operation. The master should ensure the mooring operations are carried out carefully and the following items are appropriately addressed: suitable planning and supervision, proper communication, competency of personnel, sufficient members in the mooring teams, familiarity with any specific shore, requirements relating to shore moorings, passing traffic and tidal weather conditions. All mooring equipment and practices should comply with applicable guidelines for tanker as per OSCIMF and local regulation. Any unsafe situation should be identified, evaluated, and recorded in safety and health committee meeting. Corrective action need to be implemented as necessary. Before conducting any mooring operation, all mooring gears and communication systems should be tried out. When a pilot arrives, Mo discussed and agree. Mooring operation must clearly understand the plan and prepare accordingly for safety moor a ship, the effect and wind underwater, current effects of tide under keel clearance concerning ship's draught, and surging effects of passing ship all must properly taken into account. Definition of common mooring lines explains below. Breast lines, mooring lines leading ashore as perpendicular to the ship. Fore and aft line, breast line restrain the ship in one direction of the breath. Note, due to collision with shore gantry cranes, breast line are not usually used in container terminals. Headlines, mooring lines leading ashore from the fore end or forecastle of a ship, often at an angle of about 45 degrees to the fore and aft line. Spring lines, mooring lines leading in a nearly fore and aft direction, the purpose of which is to prevent longitudinal movement of the ship while in the berth. Spring lines restrain the vessel into two directions. Head spring prevents forward motion and back spring aft motion. Stern line, mooring lines leading ashore from the after the end or poop of a ship, often at an angle above about 45 degrees to the fore and aft line. Ropes are not arranged on split-type drum correctly. The smaller drum must have 4 to 5 turns and rest of it should be on a larger drum. The company's risk assessment procedure shall be utilized to ensure that during the anticipating mooring arrangements and equipment used, the safety of crew is ensured as the ship moves near the berth. All mooring equipment need to tested for appropriate working condition. Tanker vessels engaging in different mooring patterns should be particularly careful with the mooring arrangement and the preparation on board, with particular emphasis on use of remote control position for operating winches, clear layout on deck prior operation, the use of proper personal protective equipment, and identification and mooring of dangerous zone during mooring operation. Quick and close communication between the station. Tanker vessel engaging in different mooring patterns arrangements should carry out a formal risk assessment for each type. to assess and minimize the crew associated with the operation. Such risk assessment are to be reviewed before similar subsequent operation and any additional identified risk suitable management and recorded. The master should ensure that all important factors affecting safe mooring and the vessel throughout the duration of port stay are monitored and recorded. This may include weather condition, both present and forecasted, tide and current ranges, traffic movement in the vicinity where applicable, interval of mooring patrol, depending upon above factors. Brake testing. Mooring equipment on board should be maintained in a good working condition so as to secure safety in the mooring operation. Planned maintenance schedule include a requirement for annual brake testing of all mooring winches using the test kit provided on board. This includes testing brake holding power, rendering and adjustment to ensure rendering of mooring winch brakes at optimum stress to reduce the risk of injury from an overstressed mooring. Such procedure must meet applicable guidelines and which brake should be marked after testing and brakes to be set at the correct tension setting while in use. Record of spare inventory is to be kept on board and used spares replenished. For all mooring ropes, wire, tails, and shackles, a record of certificate replacement date and specific winches to which they are fitted is to be maintained. The PMS procedure includes inspection intervals for all mooring equipment and also covers end-to-end and renewal procedure. Specific intensive vessel trading patterns may warrant a more frequent change of spares such as mooring rope tails. Such intervals may be shorter than the prescribed in OCIMF guidelines. Standard for placement mooring wires on some tankers designated as below. Head stern lines replacing 7.5 years and intervals end to end 3.75 years. Spring breast line replacing 5 years and reversing 2. Characteristic of mooring ropes below mentioned in use should be acknowledged by all staff who are engaged in the mooring operation. Material and type of thread, safe working load, stretching ratio, anti-abrasion, water tightness against sea water, and etc. For all mooring ropes, a record of certificate replacement date and specific winches which they are fitted is to be maintained. If mooring ropes are observed major damage or heavy corrosion, report to the company for the replacement.